Yesterday's massacre is the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history in which the suspect has survived. That's according to Fox News researchers. So never before has somebody accused of shooting and killing this many people lived to see the inside of a courtroom. That's something. Bring in Bob Bianchi. He's a defense attorney and former prosecutor. Is there something we can learn, I mean, from this suspect? He's still alive?
Well, they'll debrief him, Shep, but as you pointed out, we know more and more in the law enforcement world that these incidents, especially related to schools, are going to happen with greater and greater frequency. And like you've indicated, we've done nothing to get all the best minds together to eradicate it.
This process, one thing about Florida, you know, if it happens in Florida, you're going to see it. The sunshine laws in Florida are almost unique in the country in that we're going to have access to everything. There's video inside. We're going to see the videos. We're going to see all of the evidence. The whole world's going to see all this, right?
Yeah, and you're going to see a great prosecution here because they've got a lot of data, and hopefully the psychologists will be able to go in and get into the mind of somebody like this. But like you've indicated, this is going to be full board with the prosecutors, death penalty all the way. They've got a lot of evidence. They're going to be looking into hate groups, and it's going to actually spark a debate, and maybe like people like you
every time it sparks a debate every time.
You're right, but you know, it's got to come to a time. Somebody's got to do something.
Oh, well, I said that after Newtown.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I guess from a law enforcement perspective, you know, it's never a bad day to give props to law enforcement. But my God, they were all over this thing yesterday. It was so fast. They had him in custody before the crime. I mean, really people knew what they were doing. It was astounding and amazing.
Yeah,
and impressive.
I've actually been involved in a situation which we're trying to empty a school.
Because it's such chaos.
When there's a bad guy, it's chaos. You're trying to repeat. You don't know where the bad guy is. You don't know if there's any other kids. You're having people locked down. There's parents coming to the scene, media coming to the scene. These guys did a tremendous job, as well as getting him and capturing him safely so that he can be prosecuted.
This sort of thing happens a lot. I guess the first time we ever really saw it happen live in front of us, because you're in the kind of a television market where it's competitive and they have a lot of choppers and they have a lot of resources. It would have been at Columbine. Right. And then yesterday, I get the news people down there, I mean, they really keep you informed. And we saw the whole thing unfold. And the processes that they put into place, the changes that have been put in place since Columbine, SWAT teams act differently and react differently. Right. What did you think of the process?
I thought the process was really good, but I'll tell you, when I was the head prosecutor and we were trying to teach schools, the various schools, what to do in an incident like this, there's a lot of divergence about what people think is the right thing to do. Do you lock down? Do you set up perimeters? Do you just fight for your life? Jump out? Do you fight? And I found as that person who was responsible, even though I was an attorney, I was in charge of all the law enforcement community, 44 law enforcement agencies. There was a lot of debate about how to go about doing this. So we went to school by school with operational plans and tried to teach a uniform and consistent message. And I think that needs to be done nationally. And in fact, in Morris County, New Jersey, I know the president of, or at least the former president of the Chiefs Association out there has a Class 3 retired police officer squad that goes out to schools and is with the prosecutor's office, is working with the school. So that when you go there, Shep, here's the main thing. We had plans in hand. When we go to that scene and there's an active shooter scenario or even a catastrophic event, we didn't have to worry about where's the boiler room, where are the utilities, who's in charge, who do we call. We knew that on the way up there so that we were able to immediately interdict. And these kinds of things are really important. And another thing, and my last point, Shep, I think is really important, unfortunately, we have to have parents stop turning their heads to this, and they have to target harden their children. They have to have real conversations about this and what to do, God forbid, either in a school or in another public context. And I know there was a lot of pushback. I got it. How dare you talk to our kids about something like this? Well, it's real. And if it happens, they have to know what to do so that they can defend themselves, and sometimes it comes down just to that.
That school system, like running a city, it's the 6th largest in the country. I didn't know all this until yesterday. It's the 6th largest in the country, like 337 schools, 270,000 students, 30,000 employees. Every single one of them feels this today. Everyone. All of them are changed, right?
Yeah, all of them are changed, and you know what really concerns me is there were a lot of points of data in here, whether it be the FBI or whether it be what happened with the school. And this is not to be critical, because there's thousands of these kinds of people that are out there, let's face it. But we need to do a better job at coordinating that data from an intelligence point of view so that we can kind of put our eyes and ears on specific people. Yeah. And I think maybe here, I mean, it's the red flags were all over the place. It's not the fault to anybody because you don't expect it to happen.
We don't know whose fault it is. It's early. They'll argue about it. One side will argue one way, one side will argue the other way, just like they do every time, just like they have for 30 years. And then in the end, maybe we as a people will go, figure this out. We're not bad. There's nothing wrong with us as a nation. Something is different. We have to figure out what it is. Now let's do it. Stop with your petty arguments. Stop messing with everybody's politics. Who cares? Our kids are dying. There's dead kids out in that school yesterday, and we're yelling at each other about our politics. It's absurd and obscene.
And you mentioned something I think is really...
Oh, we got to go. I'm out of time.
Okay.
Bob, I thought you were counting me down to 1 second. It's one of those things. Bob, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, Shep. Thank you.
Bob Bianchi.